Hi, I'm Jack, and these are some of my thoughts on the two films that we watched. So, the first one I watched was Rome Open City, which I enjoyed, but I definitely have some issues with it. And one of the biggest ones is just the pacing of the film. I thought it was just extremely slow, especially in the first half, where just a lot of scenes feel like they were very drawn out and it made it harder to be engaged with the story the entire time. But one thing I liked about it was when things did start to pick up and things happened, it really caught me by surprise, and uh, yeah, I really enjoyed some of the moments. Like I like how far it was willing to go in showing the brutality of the Germans by killing off the main characters is something you don't see often in stories like this. Like when in like at the very end of part one when Pina was shot in the street, uh, very powerful moment. The visual of her just laying there by herself while the car drives away. I thought, that was a great shot, and just moments like that I thought were good. I just wish that the things building up to them were just more engaging. And yeah, another thing I liked about the film was just how authentic it felt. I know that the film was literally released in like 1945. So it was literally right after the German occupation in Italy. So it makes sense why it was so authentic. Is the characters and the visuals. It was shot on location, so it just feels very authentic in that way. And so the other film, Bicycle Thieves, I it definitely enjoyed much more than Open City. One of the reasons is because visually, I thought it was just more engaging, more impressive. The use of lighting, I thought, was better. Um, it also just the pacing wasn't a problem like it was in the other film. Things move along, and you just feel more engaged in the story, which is also just because I thought it did a better job of making me emotionally invested in the characters. The main character Antonio, you really, I mean, by the end of the film, it's just like you're just heartbroken for him, and I just didn't feel the same way about the characters in Open City. And the other thing about the film was just the amount of extras and the shots and the scenes that were done on location on the streets of Rome were just incredible, especially the one where they go to the market to try to find the individual pieces for the bike, and there's just so many people and the cameras moving through them, and I just thought I was just super impressed by the amount of people that they had in these shots. And it literally felt like everyone in the scene other than um Antonio and his son, it literally just felt like they were normal people going about their day on the streets of Rome, and I thought that was really cool. So in terms of similarities between the two films, of course both of them share Italian neo-realistic qualities. Of course, they were both shot on location and use non-professional actors, so they're both able to give the audience a feeling of what it was like to be in Rome during the time. And obviously, like thematically, both films are in a post-war depression in Italy, so both of them are suffering from fascist control of the city and the hardships that come with that. And then also thematically, both films they have uh, themes of morality and self perseverance in the wake of fascism and injustice. So in Rome Open City, of course, one of the main themes is like not giving up your comrades, and still doing the right thing even when you're being tortured, or you're just being treated cruelly, is staying moral and trying to do the right thing in these instances. which is obviously a hard thing to decide, if to choose yourself and your own self perseverance, or to you know do what you think is morally right. And you also see this in Bicycle Thieves, which you know it sort of just asks, like, the question of, would you steal bread to feed your family, which that's literally the position that Antonio's in. And he has to make these tough decisions. And one more similarity is, um I thought that the endings of the film gave, sort of similar impressions, where, of course, they aren't happy endings. And of course, like, I don't think happy endings would, fit the tone, but I feel as though they're both just a little bit like ambiguous of, where it leaves the city, right? Because at the end of Bicycle Thieves, Antonio could have, been brought to jail, but he wasn't. He got to walk away, and so they both almost feel like the story's not even done. Like, it will go on. And I like that idea, that it almost feels like they end like part way through like a bigger story. So one difference between the two films is the role that religion plays. I thought that religion is depicted in a much more positive light in Rome Open City when compared to Bicycle Thieves, because in Open City, one of the main themes is the idea of, how can one keep their faith when faced with such brutal conditions. And by the end of the film, it definitely feels as though it's conveying the idea that, one, you should keep some level of hope and faith no matter what. While in Bicycle Thieves, you see the church is depicted uh, in a much more negative light, because you see that they offer these free services for the poor people of the city, but they require them to attend these mandatory sermons in order to get those things. So you see how the church is depicted as just another um, institution that tries to control and exploit the working class people of the city. Another difference between the two films is that uh, Bicycle Thieves has a feeling of like almost like desperation throughout the film. This part, a lot of this can be seen just like in the pacing, because Antonio in Bicycle Thieves, he's constantly running around the city, chasing people down. He is like just desperately trying to fix this problem. While in Rome Open City, a lot of the scenes just involve, people having like a conversation, sitting down, drinking coffee, planning their next move, and you don't feel that level of desperation that you feel in Bicycle Thieves. And finally, the last difference is, in Rome Open City, a lot of the acting felt very like melodramatic a lot of the time, especially like in like the mannerisms that certain characters had. Like, I thought that the German officers, had a lot of just exaggerated movements, which you don't really see that in Bicycle Thieves. And I think that um, Bicycle Thieves is better for that, just because, you know, because both of these films are trying to be so authentic, and they both do feel authentic. Those moments of melodramatic acting in Rome Open City, it definitely just takes me out of the film for a little bit. And so I definitely prefer uh, Bicycle Thieves in that way. And finally, just if I had to give both of these films a score, I would probably give Rome Open City a 6 out of 10, and I would give Bicycle Thieves a 8 out of 10.